صل على محمد. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم إني أتوسل إليك بصاحب الزمان عليه السلام. مولاي يا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان، ليت شعري أين استقرت بك النوى، ولي أرض تقلك أو سرى، أبي رزوى أو غيرها أمضي توى. عزيز علي نرى الخلق ولا ترى، ولا أسمع لك حصيصا ولا نجوى. إلى متى أحار فيك يا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان، وإلى متى بنفسي أنت من مغيب لم يخل منا، بنفسي أنت مع نازه ما نزه عنا. هل من معين فأطيل معه الأبيل والبكاء، هل إليك يا ابن أحمد سبيل فتلقى. اللهم إن حال بيني وبينه الموت الذي جعلته على عبادك حتما مقضيا، فأخرجني من قبري معتذرا كفني، شاهرا سيفي مجردا قناتي، ملبيا دعوة الداعي في الحاضر والبادي. اللهم أرني الطلة الرشيدة والغرة الحميدة، وكل ناظري بنظرة مني إليه، وأجل فرجهم وأجل فرجهم وأجل فرجهم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين، سيدنا ونبينا وشفينا وطبيب نفوسنا مولانا أبي القاسم محمد. وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتجبين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وفرقانه الحميد وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: النظر إلى وجه علي عبادة. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: زينوا مجالسكم بذكر علي بن أبي طالب، ذكره ذكري وذكري ذكر الله وذكر الله عبادة. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: أفضل العبادة انتظار الفرج. وقال الإمام الصادق عليه السلام: من زار قبر أبي عبد الله الحسين عليه السلام عارفا بحقه كان كمن زار الله عز وجل فوق عرشه. صلوات الله محمد وآله. وأجل فرجهم. First off, um, we will cover a whole bunch of different things that we were talking about for the last several nights. And since I work just like you all, it's a regular 8 to 5 schedule. I'm a telecom engineer, deployment of 5G. So that's why I'd been traveling back and forth, and I do the Halsa and everything else. So I apologize if I was not able to meet with the youth yesterday. I would love to meet, because that's the whole purpose of coming over here. It's like I said, it's not a one-way traffic. It should be a communication, interaction. And remember, no question is a dumb question. No question is a weird question. Don't be scared to ask a question. You can ask me about existence of Imam. You can ask me about existence of God. Those are beautiful questions. I've actually done a lot of lectures on those as well. So don't be scared, don't be shy, and always go for the logic behind everything. Somebody asked me if there's a logic behind everything that we do. Yes, the whole religion of the Shia faith is based on logic. Everything that we do is based on logic. Say, Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ajil Faraj. And I've also gotten some of the questions that I'll try to cover as I got. I did mention to Brother Khurram on the very first day as well, and he was very kind to recognize that as well. I said, ask the youth to write in writing. It's easier for everybody, because by the time the speech is over, the question will go away from your mind. It's a human psychology. So I don't mind if you're writing while I'm speaking. I would actually like it when I'm giving a lecture or something, and we're discussing a topic. Write it down, whatever your questions are, linked to the topic, obviously. So all that being said, we go towards the topic as well. Like وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We have done translation many times, a couple of times already. Right? Why are we here in this world? That's the way. And the moment you ask, if you ask that question in your 15 or 17 or 19, you're lucky basically. Sometimes the Orafas, they spend about like 70 years trying to understand why we're here in this world. We are stuck with such a machine-packed life, right? When I talk to my manager and everything, I'm a subject matter expert for 5G deployment, right? So I have a lot of pressure too as well when I do. I'm not just saying all this to praise myself. I don't care about this role or whatever the designation is, but the pressure, the pressure of work is there, obviously. When you get all that stress out and everything, this place, when you come here, it should be a point of relaxing. It should be a point of relief. Why? Because the zikr of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, the zikr of Mawla Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, it will enlighten your gatherings. See, that's what he said, right? Sayyinu majalisikum. And then the question I was asking myself yesterday, remember when you talk about why are we here in this world or what am I doing, there's no protocols. Don't go for what kind of prayers am I doing, what kind of Arabic should I know, what kind of Molanas I should talk to. I've spent a lot of time in Karbala, Najaf Qom, right, talking to ulamas, a lot of them. But that's not the point. The point is you analyzing your soul. And sometimes, believe me, the best place to analyze is Musalla, is Janamaz, is Sajdaga. There's no other place better than that. That's your best friend, actually. If I was talking to Brother Khurram's sons today, this morning, and I said, even if you both brothers have anything about each other, talk on the Musalla, right? That's the open forum, right? Same with the Zari of Imam Hussein. When you go to Karbala, you talk the mind, you talk your brain. There was a brother, Al Sunnat. I met him in Najaf, right? When I was in the entrance of Muslim Ibn Akhil, right? I'll just make it short. It's very much relevant to what I'm saying. So he was wandering around, walking back and forth, right? वैसे चल रहे थे कभी इधर जाते हैं कभी इधर जाते हैं परेशान थे मैंने कहा what happened he said आगा मट्टी ढूंढ रहा हूँ खाक लेके जाना है I'm looking for some mud from here to take it and then he goes like this and I said why don't you take some marifa so he was like literally going this way and he turned all the way all of a sudden back there what do you say I said take some marifa love of Imam Ali al-Islam that's what and then he started talking to me for several things and then I said जितना राजो न्याज है उतनी बुलंद परवाज है जितना राजो the more secrecy the more it's you and Imam Ali Islam only the higher the level is don't worry about what people are saying आप सरकार खलक का हलक नहीं पकड़ सकते लोगों का हमें बातें करना सुनिए इधर से उधर निकाल दी आप मौला की तरफ देखिए खास तौर से जब बारगाह इमाम में यहाँ पे and then he asked me some really basic questions like he said can I talk about my wife and my son and my stress and my tragedies in life and I'm so much in pain and he was crying and I said yes that's the whole point of coming to Najaf. You go put yourself close to Amir al-Mu'minin and then you talk your heart. You talk your soul. He's not looking for Arabic from you. He wants you to talk casual. Wallahi, we have made it so complicated. It's so simple. I didn't know he was Brother Ali Sunnat until I was talking all these things. And then people from Lucknow, they all passed by and they said, do you know he's Ali Sunnat? I said, well, what does it matter, man? Don't pinpoint people like this. They're all Husseini. They're all Alawi. He comes for the love of Imam Ali Islam. Don't pinpoint. Don't embarrass him for that. It doesn't matter if he's Sunni or Shia or whatever. The main point is you got to actually break that shell of protocols. We are in so many protocols, and then we are packed in this machine life that we don't have time to think about why are we here in this world. That's the question to ask every day. I was talking to the Imam of my time this morning. I was in the open sky, sitting one on one, right? I can't talk too much about it, but one of the questions I said, Nair, I don't call myself Malana or Sheikh or whatever people call it. I call myself Nair. Hey, I say, hey, dude, for example, right? Nair, I'm just talking to myself. I'm like, are you ready? Or are you just saying it? You're ready. What if the Imam comes right now? सरकार अल्लाह जल जो कहते हो आ गए तो क्या होगा अभी आ गए तो क्या होगा बदून अल महतूम अल फरज मुमकिन बदून अल महतूम हत्ता खम्स महतूम आप सबको मालूम है you all know what mahtum are like the 5 indications but Imam said it might happen without it as well because why because Allah is testing right it can happen right now so anyway that's a separate topic we might touch it a little bit on this on the 8th and the 9th of Muharram I will promise I will touch it it's a very delicate topic but I will touch it since I already started but coming back to this the ishq ilahi the love of Allah being in love with Allah right not love of Allah in love and the love of Ahlul Bayt al-Islam the love of Imam Ali Islam the love of Mawla Hussein Islam the love of Mawla Sahibul Zamana Islam feel it don't just write books and don't just discuss it and don't just come under the pressure that my parents are telling me to listen to this. Maulana, no. Feel it. Like I said, Vilayati Ali, you cannot write it. You cannot read it. You cannot say it. You have to feel it. Say, Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So basically, and I'll tell you one beautiful thing. When I was in the, I've spent quite a lot of time in Karbala writing my book. I was sitting, I was in Karachi first, right? So somebody in Karachi asked me, obviously it was in Urdu, right? I'll say it in Urdu and translate as always. He said, ah, ye nemat diye, ye nemat. So he was counting all the nemats, right? Allah has given. I have 34 grandkids, right? So he was counting all of them, right? He might be listening to my speech right now as we speak. He's a nice person, and I respect him. A nice person. So anyway, that's a way of thinking. So I listened to it, and then I traveled from Karachi straight to Karbala. I came from Najaf Airport. I came to Karbala, and I was sitting at the Zari of Imam Hussain Islam, and I'm writing these words. I said what I wrote in Urdu, obviously in Arabic and Urdu. I said, नेमतें गिनवाते रहते हो हर वक्त, क्यों भाई? अगर कुछ नहीं देता तो क्या शुक्र नहीं करते? Allahu Akbar. You know where I wrote this word? ये कहाँ लिखा है? I was sitting in front of Imam Hussain Islam, and then what I said, you keep on counting nemats. He's given me this. He's given me this. What if he would not have given you all this? Would you not thank him at that time? The source of this is not in any book, in any hawza, in any marja. I challenge you. These words are straight sitting at the Zari of Imam Hussain. And I'd never thought of this. I was like, why are we doing a trade? Because he's given me this, that's why I'm doing this. Because he's given me this name, that's why I'm doing it. No, he's my creator. Let me elaborate. What if he would have asked for a 6-month-old baby in his way? What if he would have asked for an 18-year-old in his way? What if he would have asked for all the tortures and the arrows and the spears in his way? Well, you know who I'm talking about, right? Obviously, that level is very, very, way above any human, right? So, but the point is, we all keep on doing these trades, right? Okay, this is what I do. This is what he has done. No, fana fillah, ishq. That's what ishq is. Ishq does not need any return. You just do actions for Allah. And maybe these things might find a little bit hard to absorb right now in the 16, 17, 18 years. Well, when you reach 40 and when your beard starts to turn white a little bit, then you'll start to realize, like, okay, that's what he was saying. That's what he said. Salawat ala Muhammad wa alihi. Ajil faraj. So that's where the main focus had been. And we keep on saying the same verses of Imam Hussain al-Islam that we read all the time, right? What are those verses? Whoever was here in the first gathering, right? You all remember these words from the first gathering, right? What did I say? Ilahi, Ilahi maza wajada man faqadak. Wa mallazi faqada man wajadak, right? You all are easy in Arabic too? Then I'll translate a little bit in English too. Oh my Allah, oh my Creator, maza wajada man faqadak. Wa mallazi faqada man wajadak. Whosoever has gotten close to you has lost what? Nothing. And whosoever has lost you has got what? Nothing. The real connection, the ultimate connection is Allah. Even through Imam Hussain al-Islam, we are going towards Allah, right? That's where it is. And then we go towards the bargah of Amir al-Mu'mineen Mawla Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. That name should have charged you all, right? When I say the name of Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. So that Mawla, a person comes to Imam Ali Islam and asks, Mawla, in the salat, in the namaz, we have everything one, right? But the sujood are two. Have you heard this one? It's a very famous one, right? The sujood are two. कुछ कुछ चेहरे मुझे लग रहा है उन्होंने यकीनन ये जुमला सुना हुआ है उनका चेहरा बता रहा है कि इन्होंने सुना हुआ है जुमला फिर से सुन लीजिए हदिया there's so why there are two sujuds there are two sajdas in salat, right? And Imam Ali alayhi salam replied back and he said there are two sujud, there are two sajda because the first sajda when you do is a sign of your creation, you come from that mud, and the second sajda that you do is a sign of that you will return back to that mud, and then you get up, and that's as if you're getting up on the day of judgment. That's why the two sujood are. There's an ayat of Quran reference for that as well. That's what the reply is. Are you all ready for the next word? The person asked, he said, Oh Mawla, between those two sujoods, We were sitting and saying, Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. Pause for a little bit. What was that? Imam Ali al-Islam replied back, he said, that is your life. Your life is nothing but astaghfar. Say, Salawat ala Muhammad wa alayhi. माहौल मजलिस तो मुख्तलिफ हो गया तो सुन लीजिए. Zayyanu, afwan. A few words in Urdu, but I'll translate it. Zayyanu majalisukum bi zikri Ali ibn Abi Talib. Zikrahu zikri. Wa zikri zikr Allah wa zikr Allah ibada. कल मैंने क्या जुमला कहा था? अली को मानो लेकिन अली की भी मानो. You love Imam Ali Islam, but again follow Imam Ali Islam as well. At the time of my death, वक्त नहीं था, I'll see Maula Ali Islam. सरकार कब आए कब गए फरिश्ते कब्र में हमको क्या मालूम. हम तो थे मसरूफ इबादत देख रहे थे रूह अली. So I was just looking at Imam Ali's face. I don't know what else is happening around me. But going back to that, what if Imam Ali Islam asked me, what were you doing? Well, I was doing this and I was doing, no. What were you doing in reality? Like I mentioned yesterday, taqwa, staying away from haram. If I claim to love Imam Ali Islam, Ali से मोहब्बत का दावा करने वालों, अली जिससे इश्क कर रहा है उस अल्लाह की बारगाह में पढ़ो. और अगर हय्या अला सलाह पे नहीं बढ़ सकते तो हय्या अला खैरुल अमल पे तो बढ़ जाओगे. हय्या अला खैरुल अमल reminds you of Ghadir, right? I'm saying if you love Imam Ali Islam, go towards the one who Imam Ali Islam is loving, Allah. And if Hayya ala Salah is not enough, go for Hayya ala Khair al Amal, because Hayya ala Khair al Amal is reminding you what? Ghadir. Ghadir khum ki yaad aa rahi. Ali के नाम से जलते हो तुम तो यूं ही सही. अली के नाम से जलते हो तुम तो यूं ही सही. कदम कदम पे अली के मैं गीत गाऊंगा. खुदा तो हश्र में दोजख में तुमको डालेगा. मैं नाम लेकर यहीं पर तुम्हें जलाऊंगा. दुरूद भेजिए मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद. I wish I could fast. I wish I could fast. I'm saying Allah will throw you in hell on the day of judgment. You are already burning whenever I say the name of Muhammad Islam. The enemies, right? Basically. But again, the idea behind that is you got to actually feel all those fazail. Fazail of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam suits the person who's actually following Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Take these words. That's the essence of the majlis. जो आज़ादारी में और विलायत में उसको सूट करता है जो शरीयत का पाबंद भी रहे साथ में हराम से बच रहा है. It has to be a balance, right? Like I said, I'm not a preacher. Matter of fact, I don't like preachers. I'm a practical person. I'm giving you from a real life perspective, right? You do not feel like committing a sin if you're truly in love with Imam Ali Islam. If you're truly in love with Mawla Sahibul Zaman Islam, you do not feel like committing a sin. You feel embarrassed. You feel ashamed. You feel it's a bad taste. It's like it will make you feel uneasy when you face them, right? That's the feeling. If that feeling gets in there, then you're traveling towards the right path. Haq ka rasta, mayana rasta. It's a balanced path. When you do azadari, vilayat, aqidah, everything, you make the base on that. That's your foundation, right? If aqidah is not there, and part of the aqidah is haqq zahra, barat. Allahumma lan awwala zalimin zalama haqqa Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa akhira tabillahu ala zalik. That's your aqidah, right? As well. You build your aqidah, you build the foundation, and then on top of that foundation, you build what? Amal salih. You stay away from haram and you go towards the wajibat. Say, salawat ala Muhammad. Easy enough, right? I'm trying to make it easy for the youth as well, right? I don't want to throw too many technical terms, too many Arabic terms. I don't want to make it fasih or baligh. I want to keep it simple because it's a two-way communication. We are interacting. There are protocols of the majalis. That's why we cannot communicate two-way right now. Otherwise, I would like to even pause in the middle and ask you questions and let you ask questions in the middle. That's the way it would be. But going back to that particular, the Zayyanu Majalisikum. What does Zayyanu Majalisikum mean? Enlighten your gathering with the zikr of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Talk about Imam Ali alayhi salam. Why? Zayyanu Majalisikum bi zikr Ali ibn Abi Talib. Why? Zikrahu zikri. When you talk about Imam Ali, it's like as if you're talking about me. The Prophet is saying, Was zikri zikr Allah. When you talk about me, it's like as if you're talking about Allah, right? Was zikr Allah ibadah, our topic, right? And when you talk about Allah, that's like a form of ibadat, right? We go towards the Rasul. Again, Rasulullah as well. Somebody asked that question. That's a part of the question that was asked, right? When people say Rasul was Ummi, right? There's a concept of people saying Ummi, right? Again, let me elaborate this. Before any of these discussions and the questions, I firmly believe in giving respect to people's views, right? If somebody's okay, put yourself into the shoes of an Al Sunnah brother. For the last 27, 28 years, he'd been listening to something else. And if I start arguing with him for the sake of arguing, it's not going to help him or me. So the way we proceed is we never argue with them. We put a point across, and that's it, and then we move on. There's a difference between putting a point across and arguing for the sake of arguing. But in our generations, we should also always have the understanding why is the faith there? What is the aqidah of Amir al-Mu'mineen al-Islam? What is the aqidah of Haqq Zahra? What is the aqidah of Vilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen? What is the aqidah of Tawheed? Before anything else, the foundation is Tawheed, the oneness of Allah. That should be the foundation. So passing on a generation is something else. And arguing for the sake of arguing is not good. I don't like that idea. But going back to the question that was asked, Ummi, right? It said Rasulullah was like us. That's what one some people say Rasulullah was like us. Rasulullah hum jaise the. Rasulullah hum jaise. Rasulullah hum jaise kaise? Hum jaise kaise? How can the Rasul be like you and me? Tawajjo, tawajjo, tawajjo. For the Rasul, when Isa wanted a book, he was asked to come get the book. When Musa wanted the book, he was asked to come, the Sohaf Musa, right? Sohaf Isa. When Ibrahim wanted the book, he was asked to come. What is the Prophet? Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Say salawat ala Muhammad. Our Prophet. Our Prophet. Our Prophet is at the level wherever the Prophet goes, the Wahi comes there. If the Prophet is in Ghadir, the Wahi comes in Ghadir. If the Prophet is in Tathir, the Wahi comes in Tathir. If the Prophet is in Mubahila, the Wahi comes in Mubahila. You all know all the narrations I'm talking about. If the Prophet is in Zulashir, the ayat comes in Zulashir. If the Prophet is in Ohad, the ayat comes in Ohad. Wherever the Prophet goes, tawajjo, aapke liye sarkar. Wherever the Prophet is going, the ayat is following. The Prophet who cannot be like other prophets, how can that Prophet be like you and me? How can that Prophet be? यहाँ खत्म नहीं हुई, आगे बात मुकम्मल कर लूँ. It's not the end of the talk. I said that Prophet who's not even compared, you cannot compare him with the other prophets. How can you compare him with us? He cannot be like us. He's beyond and above all of this. The Prophet who was going wherever the Wahi was falling, the Quran was falling in Hira, in Qare Hira, in Zulashira, in Ghadir, in Tathir, in Ohad, in Khandaq, in Khaybar, in Fateh Makkah, in Sulh Hudaybiyah, every place wherever the Prophet goes, the Quran was falling. But there was one point at the 13th of Rajab that when the Prophet was not being followed, rather the Prophet was asked, "Oh Rasulullah, my Ali is arriving in Kaaba now. Don't stay at your home. Go towards Kaaba and receive my Ali. My Ali is coming towards you." Yeah. Now Ali आ रहे हैं काबे में. आज घर में नहीं बैठना. Rasul आज घर में नहीं बैठना. You look at the tone when Allah is talking to the Prophet in these things. Let's go back to Ghadir. That was not a part of it, but since you have charged me already. In the time of Ghadir, right? What is the verse say? You all must know it, right? Inshallah, I'm pausing it for a second. So you ponder yourself, right? That beautiful, beautiful verse. What does it say? Ya ayyuhar Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. Fa illam tafal fama ballaghta risalata. Look at the tone. It's not being addressed like Habib or Yasin or Taha or the name or any loving name, no? What is the designation? Rasul. Ya ayyuhar Rasul. O Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. Reveal what's been given to you from your creator, right? पहुंचा दो बल्लिग पहुंचा दो तबलीग से निकले वर्ड बल्लिग मा उनजिला इलैका whatever is given to you. What is it? فإن لم تفعل فما بلغت رسالة الله أكبر. Look at the tone. Look at the tone. Translation already done, right? If you do not do this action, then you have not fulfilled your commitments of risalat. It's a big, big, huge sentence, right? It's not easy the way it's been talked, right? So it's because of Ghadir, right? In Ghadir, that was the revelation, right? What was and remember, the words are not if you do not perform. It's not about do you not say. It's a performing action, right? That's why the prophets grabbed the hand of Imam Ali Islam. And what did he say? What did he say? Come on, youth. What did he say when he was holding the hand? आसान तुम बोलिए बोलिए सरकार को मसला नहीं है अली मौला Man kuntu mawlahu fahaza aliyun mawlahu. In another version it says man kuntu mawla fa aliyun mawlahu. Allahumma wa'aliman wa'alahu wa adiman a'dahu wansur man nasara wa wakhzul man khazalahu. Salawat ala Muhammad. आपका जिक्र न जाने कहाँ तक पहुंचा है. When you praise Imam Ali salam, it's not only me. I want you to praise Imam Ali too as well. You get charged, you get motivated. The zikr goes towards the skies. The zikr, who knows, maybe Jibrail is also listening to it too. Maybe Mikael is listening to it, right? Are y'all ready for one more dangerous one? Janabe Israel is also listening to it too. भाई इजराइल भी तो शिया है कि नहीं है घबराए तो नहीं you guys are not going to get scared, right? If you give me permission to talk about this, it's a beautiful topic. You know what it is, right? Death. Death. It's the topic of death. It's one of my favorite topics. But when I said Jibrail, Assalamu ala man naghaw fil mahd Mikail, you know, when he was giving the, for Imam Hussein and for Mawla Ali Islam, so he's a Shia, right? Mikail is a Shia. Jibrail comes to the Prophet and reveal the narration about Imam Hussein Islam, and many, many other times in the Uhud as well, right? So there's so many narrations about Jibrail and Mikail. Why don't we talk about Israel alayhi salam? So imagine when Israel alayhi salam enters this gathering right now to talk to me, not to you all. Don't be scared of it. He said, let's go. Or let me put it easier way. You're not gonna get scared. Let's go, buddy. Let's go. Time to go. I'm like, wait a minute. Why don't we talk about Imam Ali for a minute? Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. ये मौत कितनी आसान कितनी मीठी बना दी है मैंने तुम्हारे लिए. A person comes to Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam and asks, he says, Mullah, we have heard kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut. Why is the word za'iqa in there? Kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut. Every soul, every nafs will taste the death. Why the word taste is there? It could be like kullu nafsin maut, right? Za'iqatul maut. Why za'iqa? So Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam replied back to the person. He says, the word za'iqa is mentioned because every human being in the entire universe will see Imam Ali alayhi salam at the time of his death. Every human being. For a moment, the death will be sweeter than the taste of honey. Shahad se zyada sheeri hai. And for a munafiq, the death will be bitter than the poisonous feeling of the bitter taste of a poison. That's why that word taste is mentioned there. Salawat ala Muhammad wa alayhi. You know, in a normal generic American way, you would say, "Oh my God, you're here? Is that you here?" So that's what it is. It's a feeling of being scared. You know, at the moment, what would he do? He was saying, "Oh, there you come. I've been waiting for you for many many years. I've been waiting to see your face." That is nothing but mulaqat Ali, talqa Imam Ali. So again, but that's what I'm saying. Israel alayhi salam. We were talking about Israel alayhi salam. If you give me, he gave me permission already. So now you grab his neck on that. But it's the way I'm presenting is when Israel alayhi salam comes in and he says, "Let's go, Nair, let's go, time to go." How would you react, or how would we react? Scared or what? I'll tell you my feelings, right? I don't know if I will actually be doing it at that time. I'll give you one verse in Urdu as well on the same topic in just 1 minute. Bear with me for a minute. I would say let's recite some Fazail of Mawla Amir al-Mu'mineen Islam if we have time. You say, yes, I have all the time in the universe to listen to the Fazail of Amir al-Mu'mineen. I said, what else? And then he would say, let's recite the Masahib of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. So I will start doing a majlis at that point, right? Char Misre with apologies from the Arabic speaker, but maybe you might translate it. You got irfan of connecting all the dots already. You all are, mashallah, very knowledgeable on the thing. And Urdu and Arabic, they're pretty close actually. इजाजत इतनी भर जाए इन आंखों में जियाए अब्बास इतनी भर जाए इन आंखों में जियाए अब्बास मुझको कोई ना नजर आए सिवाय अब्बास और यूं करो नामे सकीना जरा लेकर देखो गैर मुमकिन है बुलाने पे ना आए अब्बास जुमला सुनना मौत पे बता रहा हूं आखिरी सांस जो तौबा के लिए होती है मैंने वो सांस भी रख दी है बराए अब्बास दुरूद भेजिए मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद मैंने वो सांस भी रख दी है बराए अब्बास ट्रांसलेशन आई ट्राई टू ट्रांसलेट इतनी भर जाए इन आंखों में जियाए अब्बास आई वांट द नूर ऑफ अबुल फजल अब्बास इन माय आईज सो मच मुझको कोई ना नजर आए सिवाय अब्बास आई डू नॉट वांट टू सी एनीबॉडी बट अब्बास यूं करो नाम सकीना जरा लेकर देखो इफ यू कॉल द नेम ऑफ बिनतुल हुसैन रुकैया बिनतुल हुसैन इफ यू कॉल द नेम गैर मुमकिन है बुलाने पे ना आए अब्बास it's impossible that Abbas will not reply back. He will reply back. And the last two verses, what did I say? आखिरी सांस सरकार आपकी शक्ल देख देख के मिसराया है आखिरी सांस जो तौबा के लिए होती है the last breath of my body, of my soul, that is for forgiveness. Astaghfirullah. I was supposed to do tawbah, astaghfar. What is happening? आखिरी सांस जो तौबा के लिए होती है मैंने वो सांस भी रख दी है बराए अब्बास and the last moment of my life what am I saying ya abbas ya abbas ya abbas and my soul is going from here to barzakh se salawat ala muhammad wa alayhi. Ya abul faz ya abul faz I haven't entered the Messiah, but this is the feeling I was in at the Zariya of Mawla Abul Fazl Abbas salam, on the day of Ashura. I was doing my Zanjir Matam where there, entering the Zariya of Mawla Abul Fazl Abbas. I was right in front of the Zariya. And I was not even able to find the place earlier. This last Ashura is the Karam. I'm not praising myself, nothing. It's the Karam of Abul Fazl Abbas. Mawla allowed almost 2 minutes I was there in front of Zariya of Mawla Abbas. And they were saying, you must have heard these many, many times, Ya Abbas Jibil Ma'iluskiyana. The whole halaqah around me was saying, they put me in the middle. They said, I said, Salasa daqiqa, Ya Allah dakhul. And they were saying, Ya Abbas Jibil Ma'iluskiyana. You know what it means, right? Oh, Abbas, bring water for Sakina. That's what they're saying. And I was saying in my language, Ya Abul Fazlil Abbas, Hi Sakina, Hi Pyas. So that's why I said, when I was standing in front of Mawla Abbas Zari, this is what I said. आखिरी सांस जो तौबा के लिए आगा wallahi 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 3 times. If you have actually felt the love of Abul Fazl Abbas and Mawla Hussain Aslam in your soul, you will not find anything important in this world. Wallahi, you're somewhere else. It's just हमारे एक दोस्त ने कहा था आरजी आराम गाह. It just says it's a temporary place of resting here, this world. I said no, it's not aramga, it's imtihanga. It's a place of test right here. We're just here for the time being. Our real journey is in barzakh. The real journey starts in barzakh. Again, that was not the main idea, but since we started talking about death, right? Somebody asked me, you speak so straightforward and upfront on member, and you talk Haqq Zahra, and you do barat straightforward. You're not scared of death? I said, अगर उर्दू में जवाब पहले अगर जिस्म के लिए मौत है तो हक़ ज़हरा पढ़ते हुए आने वाली मौत से बेहतर कोई शहादत नहीं उस शहादत से बेहतर कोई मौत नहीं if death is destined for this body and the separation of body and soul while reciting haqq zahra if somebody kills me for that there's no beautiful death than that I desire shahadat I'm telling you I desire shahadat it's not about me just sitting here and giving a long speech and praising myself no I actually desire shahadat if based on this is if somebody kills me why because the prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said if you're just being killed for loving Ahlul Bayt al-Islam, go ahead. You're ready for the words of Janabe Saeed, and Hazrat Muslim ibn Awsaja. I promise some words in Arabic today. I'll try to say a few words, right? And I'll translate as well. Beautiful, beautiful words. The concept is about the same. If you read Maqtal, they're about the same concept, right? Janab Muslim ibn Awsaja, Habib ibn Mazahir, and Saeed. Or what are those words? I'll try to translate. Wallahi, after the communication of Imam Hussein was happening, they say, Wallahi, law alimtu anni uqtilu, summa ahya, summa uhriqu, summa unshira fil hawa, summa uqtilu, summa ahya, fayaf'al bi, fayaf'alu bi sab'ina marra, sab'ina marra. In one translation, alf marra. It's sab'ina marra, Ma faraqtuka ya Hussein. Allahu Akbar. He's already translating. He's already translating. Ma faraqtuka ya Hussein. Okay, what is he saying? You know, when, on the day of Ashura, Imam Hussein was communicating, right? What do you say? By Allah, we give qasam of Allah. Wallahi. Law alim. If we would know anni uqtilu, that we would be killed, summa ahya, and then we would be given another life, summa uhriqu, and then we would be killed, and then we would be burned again. Summa uqtila, summa ahya, summa uhriqu. And then we will be burned. Summa unshiro fil hawa. And then after that, our pieces will be cut and thrown in the air. Are you ready for that next one? وَيَفْعَلُ بِسَبْعِينَ مَرَّةً. And this thing happens how many times? 70 times. مَا فَارَقْتُكَ يَا Hussein. We will still not leave you, Ya Abu Abdullah. Say salawat ala Muhammad wa alayhi. We are nothing but the hawk of those people, obviously. But we are taking a lesson from that. That's why we desire shahadat. Not a political shahadat. I'm talking about purely for the love of Imam Hussein, purely for the love of Madare Hussein, for the Masumin alayhi salam. If somebody kills me for being a Shia, for being a follower of Imam Hussein, please go ahead. I'm ready for it. Because we follow that path, we enjoy that path. That's why we are there. And because of the same path, we are always on the side of the oppressed, and we always take against the stand against the oppression. But that's a different topic. Going back to Imam Hussein Islam's love, right? When I was walking from Najaf to Karbala, one of my ustad, right? I've spent almost like 7+ years in Najaf and in Karbala, right there. Different asads, right? But he's one of my very good friend as well. Anyway, I'll just give you a brief summary of it, and it's a beautiful, beautiful word. Remember this. That's easy for the kids to understand. You know, the examples from Najaf are very easy. They don't make it complicated. They just give you layman's language, straightforward examples. So listen to this. What happened? He said, Aga, Imam Hussein ki bargah mein ziddi bachcha ban jao. Ziddi bachcha ban jao. You know, I'm listening. He's like, be like a stubborn kid. When you go to Imam Hussain or Maula Abbas, be like a stubborn kid. I told you yesterday, I've seen the Iraqis coming over there and talking to Maula Abbas like, oh, last year I came this and I asked for this and this has not happened. And like a kid is crying, basically. That's beautiful. No protocols. No who's looking around me, who's saying what around me. No, just talk. So he said, so we were walking from in a Mishi from Najaf to Karbala, like in that same time. His narration is before, but I was thinking about this while I was doing it. So what does it say? He said kids are of three kinds, right? It's a talk straight from the Hawza, from Najaf. And then I was surprised, like, what are you talking about? Kids stuff here? What are you talking about? He's like, just listen, listen, listen till the end, right? So kids are three types. Listen, pay attention. Kids are three types. He said the first type is a kid is crying and the mother is seeing kid crying and the mother gives him a candy, halawiyat, right? Halawiyat. Okay. Sukun, right? He's quiet. There's a second type of kid. He's crying and the mother gives him what? A toy. And then he settles down a little bit and then he says, oh, okay, okay. He stopped crying, right? You're with me? And then there's a third type of kid. He's crying and the mother gives him a candy. He said, no. Gives him a toy. He said, no. So what is your problem? What do you want? You know what he replied back? He said, the kid will reply back, say, I want your lap. माँ मुझे तेरी गोद चाहिए. So when you walk from Najaf to Karbala, on the path of Najaf to Karbala, you will get all these shawarma rolls and everything, and the tabarruk and all those Makkah people there serving you, and may Allah bless them for the rest of their lives. They're beautiful people. They cry when you leave the Makkah. He said, do all that stuff, but that's like halawiyat. Mr. Halawiyat, you're walking towards Karbala. You get all these things, but your focus is Imam Hussein. Go towards the Zari of Imam Hussein salam, misle maa ki aghosh ki tarah, Maula ki taraf jao. Just like the lap of the mother, you go towards the Zari of Imam Hussein salam. You put your forehead, you put your cheeks towards Imam Maula. I have arrived. I've arrived. And when I enter Karbala, I have not arrived based on my actions. I've arrived because of your mercy. Maula Hussein alayhi salam, khatarnak tak kareem hai. Maula Hussein's karam and mercy is beyond our imagination. We do not we do not comprehend, we cannot understand the karam of Imam Hussein. It's beyond our imagination. We okay, okay. We when we think about karam or mercy, right? We have a certain limit, right? Imam Hussein can forgive everybody. Like all the narration I mentioned yesterday about Janab Hora. And how many of the people I know personally, two of my people who have accepted the Shia faith from my own hands, I was given the opportunity and the blessing. Nothing is nothing special from my side. But the travel, the journey, believe me, wallahi, the arrival of Sahibul Zaman al Islam is because of this time. The moment from the other side should will come on this side. And the munafiq sitting on our queue will go on that side. It's a filter. When that filter happens, that's when the arrival is. It's a time given to us, basically. So, like I said, to be in love with Imam Hussein Islam, you do not have to be a Shia, like claim to be a Shia. One of the brother was saying, "Oh, I want to be a Shia. I want to be called a Shia." I said, "Don't worry about this too much. We're not about protocols. Be a Husseini. Just love Imam Hussein. That's all that it is. That love of Imam Hussein and Islam is important. It's not the protocols that are important. And if you do not know who else can elaborate it better, go towards Fitrus. You all know who Fitrus is, right? Fitrus, the angel who had lost his wings and stuff. We'll discuss it in detail later on. But again, a poem in Urdu, right? A few verses in Urdu, reference to Fitros and Rahib. You know what happened to Rahib, right? The one that he was asking for seven. And Jibrail said the only reason Allah stopped at, you all know the incident, so I'm not going in details of the events, right? Allah says, Jibrail says, Allah is saying he only stopped at seven kids, seven sons, because Hussein stopped there. If Hussein would have kept on giving more, Allah would have kept on giving more sons. You know the story of Rahib, right? हर बार लहू मातम सरवर में बहा और हर बार लहू मातम सरवर में बहा और पर कम ना हुआ जिस्म में बढ़ता ही गया और सरताब कदम खून में आता हूं नहा के माँ फिर भी ये कहती है मेरे लाल जरा और राहिब की तरफ देख के फितरुस ये पुकारा किस्मत का लिखा और है सरवर की अता और last verse I want to translate. I'm talking about Kama and Zanjir and Tadbir in the beginning, but the last two verses, what does it say? Rahib ki taraf dekh ke Fitrus. When Fitrus saw Rahib asking for sons, right? Rahib ki taraf dekh ke Fitrus ye pukara. Kismat ka likha aur hai. In your fate, there was no kids, right? Sarwar kiya tha aur, but Abu Abdullah Hussain alayhi salam is giving you seven kids. Say, Salawat ala Muhammad. I was giving a speech in Los Angeles, and this one youth, he was listening to the whole speech, and he said, Aga, I love the Ziddi Bacha. What you told me, Ziddi Bacha? I want to be a Ziddi Bacha. He's about 19 years old. He's traveling towards Karbala right now. He's mashallah traveling towards Karbala. He said, I want to be a Ziddi Bacha. Stubborn kid. No, I want just Imam Hussein. Nobody else. I want Imam Hussein. When that passion comes in you, jab hook aa jayegi na, you're somewhere else, like I said. You cannot even put it in words sometimes what you feel. That's what the feeling is. We we get to the point, then we start dedicating our lives. We start thinking. I say, what did I say? When you go to Karbala, you say Hussein, you hear Hussein, you see Hussein. उसके बाद का फिक्र में हुसैन आ जाए. You think Hussein, you think Hussein, you feel Hussein, nobody else. And then we go towards this one incident that happened in Awadh, right? It's linked to our today's martyrdom topic, matter of fact. But remember the ishq of Abu Abdullah Hussain. We are talking about ishq of Imam Hussain, the true love. Not a candy coated, sugar coated Maulana kind of love. No, no, no. We're not talking about Maulana. We're talking about a Malang, an Ashiq, a real Fanafil Hussain person, like in love with Imam Hussain. That type of person we're talking about. And then we go towards this incident, what happened. It's a long story, but I'll keep it very short. But pay attention to it because it's linked very much to this love of Imam Hussein's topic. And it's a very famous story of Awadh. I don't know how many of you, maybe Agha might know the Awadh story, right? Lucknow. Awadh is a place close to Lucknow, right? There was a wazir, there was a minister in the time of the British Empire, right? And he got into some issues, right? Some political issues. So they put him in prison, right? That particular minister, he used to do dudh ki sabil, right? Always a milk. He would do a mockab with a milk every Ashura. Every Ashura, he would put the milk and a big, huge sabil of milk, big, huge mockab. He was famous for that. That year, he was imprisoned. This is a very, very famous incident, right? Pay attention to the last part of it. He was actually in the prison for the rest of for the whole year. Somehow, he was crying and praying, and he was saying, "Who would manage my sabil, my mockab?" Right? So he was released when on the 8th of Muharram, 2 days before Ashura, the night of 8, and it's narrated on the 9th, even some places. On 9th of Ashura, he comes back home, and he asked his wife. He said, "We had been doing this sabil with this mockab for a long time, and the whole Lucknow knows it. Awadh knows it, right? We will be doing it this year as well, right?" And she said, "We have nothing at home." "What are you talking about?" "We have nothing at home. All the belongings are gone, and we are so poor that we hardly have any food to eat." The person gets worried, and he said, "What do I do now?" She said, "We can probably, instead of the milk, let's do water this year. We do sabil with water, right?" So he gets some water, he puts some, you know, thing in it, and then he just puts some sabil out there with the water, simple water sabil. So everybody, like he was very, very famous for this sabil, right? For this mock-up. So people started coming on the day of 9th Muharram. I don't think it was Ashura, it was the 9th Muharram, as far as I remember. Because Ashura is a Fakir Shikni day. Nobody drinks on the Ashura day. So it was 9th Muharram. They started coming. And then they were all there. "Oh, Aga, you have the Sabil, and they're all there, It's a human psychology. There's nothing wrong in it. Tabaru people come there for. So to summarize, Khulasatul Kalam, they come there and then they see there's no milk. It's just a simple water Sabil, right? So they drink a little bit. Some people make some faces and like, okay, yeah, it's fine. And then they all go. The person gets depressed. Listen, the person gets depressed. He goes back. It's a very, very famous incident. Aga must know this. The person goes back inside his home and he's starting crying. And he's telling his wife, he's saying, "I'd been doing this sabil for so many years. People were praising me. They were always coming. This year, people came and they were depressed. Nobody hardly drank anything from it. The whole sharbat, the whole thing that we have made, the sabil that we have made, is all sitting in there. Nobody drank from this. What are we going to do with this?" So he started to cry. Midnight passes by. The Hajjud time comes. And there's a knock, the qalbab. Somebody knocked at his door. So he says, "Who's coming at this time?" And we are already asleep. We don't know what's happening. He's already depressed. He's very much down. He's like given up. He opens the door. He says, "Who are you people?" So he sees one person standing in the front and then a whole bunch of people behind him. But the faces were not from the Indian subcontinent. He says the faces look a little bit different. So then he gets a little bit concerned. He said, "Who are you people and how can we help you?" And then the person in the front, he said, "We are musafir. We are travelers. And we had been traveling and we are thirsty. Can we have some water?" He got so happy. He said, "Wow, so many, mashallah. There's a line of people." He said, "Yeah, please come in and get some water." So he starts to feed them water and everything and give them water. They're all drinking, right? Pay attention. They're drinking water. And then after they're done, he asked the person, he said, "Who are you? You look a little bit different face and you say you're a traveler. Who are you?" The person replied back, he said, "I'm Habib ibn Mazahir." He said, "I'm Habib ibn Mazahir." And he said, "Who are these other people behind you?" He said, "These are Shohadai Karbala. We have traveled all the way because Arjad Abu Abdullah Hussain salam told us that this person who loves us so much, he's been waiting for this sabil, for this mawqif for a long time, and nobody has arrived. We have traveled all the way from Karbala to come to you. My name is Habib ibn Mazahir. This is the same Habib ibn Mazahir. When he was a young boy, he used to follow Imam Hussein in such a way. The Prophet Muhammad used to always respect Habib. So people asked him, he said, Ya Rasulullah, why do you respect Habib so much? You Prophet would get up from his place and hug him and kiss him and respect Habib so much, like a little kid. And then they said, so much respect for a little kid? Ya Rasulullah, what's going on? Why do you why do you respect him so much? And then Rasulullah replied back, he said, you know why I respect Habib so much? Because I've seen whenever Hussein walks in the streets of Medina, Habib goes behind those places and he starts to grab the mud from the floor and put it on his head. हुसैन के कदम जहां पड़ते हैं वहां से हबीब खाक उठा के अपने सर पे रखता है. I've seen this love towards Imam Hussein, towards my Hussein. Habib's father, Muzahir, the real name is Muzahir. In Urdu we say Mazahir, but the real name is Muzahir. Habib Muzahir. Muzahir invited the Prophet for a lunch, some food. He said, I'm inviting you to have some food with us one day. And then the Prophet says, yes, I will come, inshallah. And then Muzahir said another word. He said, Ya Rasulullah, if it's not jasarat, if it's not something that you might mind, I want to also say something else. He said, yes, what? And Muzahir said, it's actually Habib who is inviting Hussein. I'm just a channel, basically. But in reality, it's Habib ibn Muzahir who's inviting Hussein. Habib ne Hussein ko bulaya. Muzahir said, it's Habib who's inviting Imam Hussein al-Islam. The Prophet said, yes, we will come. Inshallah, we will come. You all know this narration, right? It's a famous narration. Muzahir goes back home and arranged the food and everything. Habib was so much excited about Imam Hussein al-Islam coming that he would go up on the roof and come down and up on the roof and come down. He said, Hussein is coming. And then while doing this, Habib fell down from the roof and he died. Habib ibn Muzahir died. I'm not talking about being sick or injured. He actually died. They checked his pulse and everything, the father and mother, and they said he's dead. He was about 3.5 to 4 years old. So they put Habib into one room. You know, this is the respect towards Prophet. If a person from today would be there, would say, oh, my son is dead. Let's postpone this, whatever. He said, no, the Prophet is coming. We are not postponing it. Let the Prophet and Imam Hussein come. So they put the kid in one room away from the main area. His body, his dead body, basically. He was dead. They put Habib in one room and then they arranged the food and everything. The Prophet comes there. And along with Prophet, Imam Hussein al-Islam is there. Then Muzahir said, oh, Ya Rasulullah, please start some food, have some food. Rasulullah said, I will not start until Hussein eat. Rasulullah, the Rasulullah's link towards Imam Hussein, remember when Rasulullah would not eat before Imam Hussein al-Islam would have to eat. He said, I will wait until my Hussein will eat, then I will eat after that. And Ya Aba Abdullah. Then Muzahid turns toward Imam Hussein al-Islam, please start eating. And he says, I will not eat until I will see Habib. Where is Habib? Where is Habib? And he said, and now Muzahid is in puzzle. He said, what do I do? If I tell them what happened to him, then everything will be cancelled. It will all be different. So Imam Hussein al-Islam gets up from his place and he says, oh Habib, my friend, please come towards me. And then the door opened and Habib ibn Muzahir got up from the bed and he started to come there and ate along with them. That's a miracle from the early life of Habib ibn Muzahir. This is the same Habib. You know, in Karbala, Imam Hussein al-Islam was telling all the companions and all the people, leave. You can leave. You can leave. So there's no allegiance on the day of judgment on you. I'm not asking you to stay. That person is Habib. And then when Bibi Zainab Salatul Alaiha was asking all the time, she was saying, just don't worry about it. She was saying that we keep on hearing Holy arriving, Shimar Malaun arriving, all those enemies of yours are arriving. Ya Aba Abdullah, Ya Akhi, is there anybody who would arrive for you? Is there anybody who would arrive for our side too? Imam Hussein alayhi salam said, "O Zainab, you have seen what happened to Baba Ali, and you have seen what happened to Bibi Fatma to Zahra, our mother. You have seen all the times. You know how these people are. There's hardly anybody who I can think of." Then Bibi Zainab Salatullah said, "Why don't you ask your friend from your childhood, Habib, to come towards you?" This is how Habib was invited. Imagine the status of Habib ibn Mazahir. That the sister of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, Sharikatul Hussein, Ummul Masaib, Shahida Bibi, Zainab Salatullah is asking for Habib to be arriving in Karbala. Imam Hussein al-Islam wrote a letter to Habib. In the letter, he wrote, Min al Hussein ila Rajul al Faqih. That's the title that he was given Habib ibn Muzahid. Habib was eating the food and having dinner when Daqal Bab, when the Qasid comes in, and then he says, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm the Qasid sent by Imam Hussein alayhi salam." You know what Habib did? Habib fell in his feet and he started kissing his feet. He said, "I want to kiss those feet that have come from my master Imam Hussein alayhi salam." And he said, "What do you have?" And he said, "I have brought this letter towards you that Imam Hussein alayhi salam is surrounded by enemies, and this is his istighasa, this is his call towards you. This is letter towards you." Istighasa is not the right word. It's actually his letter towards you. He's asking you to come over there. Imam will not ask for istighasa. Astaghfirullah. So he said, "This is a call of Imam towards you." And he's saying, "Come toward." Let me ask you this. Was Imam actually asking for help? In reality, no. It was Habib ibn Muzahir's privilege. His levels were getting high. That's why Habib was invited. Imam Hussein actually, in reality, does not. The one who has control over the whole kainat, all the universe, he needs help. He wanted just the privilege of Habib to be given different way. And that's why he was asking Habib to come. Now listen to the next part as well. This is the musibah. But at the same time, it's a lesson towards us. Habib ibn Muzahir, you know what he does? He takes the letter and he opens the letter and he starts to kiss it and he starts to cry. The luqma, the food that was in his throat, was still stuck there. He could not eat it completely. His wife was listening. The Zawja of Habib ibn Muzahir was listening, and Habib came to his wife and he said, "Oh, my wife, this is a letter from Imam Hussein alayhi salam." And now, look, listen to this part. Habib is not saying, "I'm heading out." What is Habib saying? He's saying, "What do you think I should do?" Pay attention to these words of Habib ibn Muzahir. When he's asking his wife, "What do you think I should do?" Why is he asking his wife, "What do you think we should do?" He's basically testing his wife. He's saying what level you are at of the marifat, of the love of Hussein. And then the wife does this. She does this. She started breaking her bangles and she started slapping her face and she said, "How can you even ask me this question?" That why is it that why is it that Imam Abdullah Hussein is asking you? You don't even have to ask that question to me. Just go towards him. So Habib starts to go towards him. Imam Hussein Islam he starts his journey. The time of Kufa was such that if you would go out of your house, you would be killed if people would know that you're going towards Imam Hussein. So what does Habib do? He sends his slave along with the horse to meet outside Kufa, and then Habib leaves his house to meet his ghulam, his servant. Before he would reach his servant, he heard a whisper from the servant. You know what the whisper was? The servant was talking to the horse. You know what he was saying? He was saying, "I've been waiting for quite some time. My master Habib has not arrived. Oh horse, if Habib does not arrive, I'm ready to go towards Hussein." The love of Hussein does not need you to be a master or a servant. The love of Hussein is different. That person was saying, if my master does not arrive, I'm ready to go towards Karbala to be with my Imam for time. Habib comes there, Habib goes to Karbala and he fought a battle, and then he gives his life in the way of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. After the tragedy of Karbala, when Bibi Zainab Salatullah and Imam Zainal Abidin alayhi salam, when they returned back to Kufa, When they returned back to Kufa, there was a little kid that came to Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam and he said, Assalamu alayka ya Mawla. And then Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, oh kid, who are you? Obviously, Imam knew he wanted to tell us who that kid was. And he said, what is your name? Who are you? And he said, I'm such and such, the son of Habib ibn Mazahir. I'm the son of Habib ibn Mazahir. And then Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam said, may Allah's blessing be on your father. May Allah's blessing be on your father. Bibi Zainab Salatullah was listening. She said to the boy, she said, where is your mother? Can I see your mother? Where your mother is? And then she said, Shahzadi, Aqazadi, oh Bibi, it's me up here. She was saying from the rooftop, she is saying, I'm your slave, I'm your servant, I'm saying salam to you. Bibi Zainab said, may Allah's blessing be on you. We give salam to you. And then Bibi Zainab said one more word. She said, we give pursa to you for Habib. In alam tasawwur, I would imagine Bibi Zainab Salatullah is giving pursa to the widow of Habib ibn Mazahir. हाय जैनब तुझे पुरसा कौन देगा तेरे माँ जाएगा हाय जैनब किससे पुरसा ले द वर्ल्ड इज नॉट गिविंग फॉर पुरसा बीबी क्या मिला Bibi Zainab would reply back, they are not giving pursa. What is the world giving you? They are throwing stones. They are giving arrows. They are piercing us with the spears. Ya Hussein.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما لبيك اللهم لبيك اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجهم الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين يا أصحاب الحسين مولاي يا مولاي مولاي يا مولاي. Somebody was asking me and Babi Qibla Maula Hussain, what is a dukhul? When you're doing a dukhul towards Imam Hussain, what do you say? Say, Assalamu alayka ayyuha shaheed. कायनात के सबसे बड़े शहीद. अस्सलाम अलैका अय्युहल अतशान. प्यासे मौला सलाम लीजिए. अस्सलाम अलैका अय्युहल मजलूम. सबसे बड़े मजलूम सलाम लीजिए. अस्सलाम अलैका अय्युहल गरीब 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 हुसैन गरीब गरीब हुसैन गरीब वकाला इमाम अल हुसैन. सर मुतहर हुसैन से सदाई अना कतील लबरार. मैं वो मजलूम हूँ जिसे रुला रुला के मारा गया है. वकाल अल हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम अना कतील लतशार. मैं वो मजलूम हूँ जिसे 3 दिन का प्यासा मारा गया. सर मुतहर हुसैन से सदा وقال الإمام المهدي فلأنذبنك صباحا ومساء ولأبكين عليك بدل الدموع الدماء. مولا صاحب الزمان فرماتے اے حسین میں آپ کے غم میں ہر صبح روتا ہوں ہر شام روتا ہوں. ولأبكين عليك اور اتنا روتا ہوں بدل الدموع الدماء میری آنکھوں سے آنسو ختم ہو جاتے میں خون روتا ہوں. مولا یا مولا یا حسین. یا حسین 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 یا حسین
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین. بنت علی نے مجھ کو چادر بنا لیا ہے میں خاک کربلا ہوں رتبہ میرا جدا ہے میں خاک کربلا ہوں رتبہ میرا جدا ہے میں خاک کربلا ہوں رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. بنت علی نے مجھ کو چادر بنا لیا ہے میں خاک کربلا ہوں رتبہ میرا جدا ہے میں خاک کربلا ہوں رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. کرتے ہیں رشک مجھ پر کوثر کے بھی کنارے زینب کے سر میں نے 2 سال ہے گزارے میرا ہر ایک ذرہ ہر ظلم کا گواہ ہے میں خاک کربلا ہوں رتبہ میرا جدا ہے میں خاک کربلا ہوں
رتبہ میرا جدا ہے.
بنت علی نے مجھ کو
چادر
چادر
بنا
بنا
لیا
لیا
ہے،
ہے، میں
خاک
خاک
کربلا
کربلا
ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے،
میں
میں
خاک
خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے.
اکبر جوان قاسم غازی سے چاند تارے، زین العبان میری آغوش میں اتارے، یعنی لہو نبی کا مجھ میں ملا ہوا ہے، میں
میں
خاک
خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے.
بنت علی نے مجھ کو چادر بنا لیا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں.
رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے.
شہدائے کربلا کے یوں لوگوں کو میں نے چوما، شہدائے کربلا کے زخموں کو میں نے چوما، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کے قدموں کو میں نے چوما، اس واسطے ہی میری تاثیر میں شفا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں.
رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے.
بنت علی نے مجھ کو چادر بنا لیا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں.
رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے.
اکبر کی لاش پہ جب شبیر جا رہے تھے، اٹھتے تھے بیٹھتے تھے اور لڑکھڑا رہے تھے، منظر وہ ابھی میری آنکھوں میں پھر رہا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں.
رتبہ میرا جدا ہے،
میں خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. بنت علی نے مجھ کو چادر بنا لیا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں.
رتبہ میرا جدا ہے،
میں
میں خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے.
اکبر کی لاش پہ جب شبیر جا رہے تھے، اٹھتے تھے بیٹھتے تھے اور لڑکھڑا رہے تھے، منظر وہ ابھی میری آنکھوں میں پھر رہا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں.
رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے.
بنت علی نے مجھ کو چادر بنا لیا ہے،
میں خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں. رتبہ میرا جدا ہے.
روتی ہوں یاد کر کے وہ بے کسی کا منظر، مولا چھپا رہے تھے مجھ میں جو لاش اصغر، उस दिन से आज तक ना मुझको सुकून मिला है। मैं खाक करबला हूँ,
रुतबा मेरा जुदा है। मैं खाक करबला हूँ, रुतबा मेरा जुदा है।
बिनते अली ने मुझको चादर बना लिया है। मैं खाक करबला हूँ,
रुतबा मेरा जुदा है।
मैं
मैं
खाक
खाक करबला हूँ, रुतबा मेरा जुदा है।
जाहिरी ने मौला चलना जरा संभल के, कुरान फातिमा का बिखरा हुआ है मुझ में, ना जाने किस जगह पे किसका लहू मिला है। मैं खाक करबला हूँ,
रुतबा मेरा जुदा है।
मैं खाक करबला हूँ,
रुतबा मेरा जुदा है।
बिनते अली ने मुझको चादर बना लिया है। मैं खाक करबला हूँ,
रुतबा मेरा जुदा है।
सल्लल्लाहु अला मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद। دل بیتاب اومده، چشم پر از آب اومده. دل بیتاب اومده، چشم پر از آب اومده. اومده ماه از لشکر ارباب اومده. اومده ماه از لشکر ارباب اومده. لشکر مشکی پوشا، سینه زنای هر باب. شب همه شب میخونن روزه برای هر باب. جان آقا زن قربان آقا، سید لطشان آقا. جان آقا زن قربان آقا، سید لطشان آقا. جان آقا زن قربان آقا، سید لطشان. جان آقا زن قربان آقا، سید لطشان آقا. جان آقا زن قربان، سید لطشان آقا. جان آقا زن قربان آقا، سید لطشان آقا. دل بیتاب اومده، چشم پر از آب اومده. دل بیتاب اومده، چشم پر از آب اومده. اومده ماه از لشکر ارباب اومده. اومده ماه از لشکر ارباب اومده. لشکر مشکی پوشا، سینه زنای هر باب. شب همه شب میخونن نوحه برای هر باب. جان آقا زن قربان آقا، سید لطشان آقا. جان آقا زن قربان آقا، سید لطشان. جان آقا زن قربان آقا، سید لطشان آقا. جان آقا زن قربان آقا، سید لطشان آقا. جان آقا زن قربان آقا، سید لطشان آقا. جان آقا زن قربان، سید لطشان آقا. دل من در به در درمون دردش سفره. دل من در به در درمون دردش سفره. یه نفر نیست که یه شب ما رو زیارت ببره. یه نفر نیست که یه شب ما رو زیارت ببره. دست ادب رو سینه، سینه زنای هر باب. با یه سلامم میرن پایین پای هر باب. جان آقا سن قربان آقا سید لطشان آقا جان آقا سن قربان آقا سید لطشان جان سن قربان سید لطشان جان آقا سن قربان سید لطشان جان سن قربان آقا سید لطشان آقا جان آقا سن قربان آقا سید لطشان آقا آه حسرت میکشم بار مصیبت میکشم آه حسرت میکشم بار مصیبت میکشم وقتی که گریم نمیاد خیلی خجالت میکشم وقتی که گریم نمیاد خیلی خجالت میکشم پای حلم میمونم پای حلم میمیرم خواب دیدم آخر توی راه حرم میمیرم جان آقا سن قربان آقا سید لطشان آقا 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 دل بیتاب اومده چشم پر از آب اومده دل بیتاب اومده چشم پر از آب اومده اومده ماه هزار لشکر ارباب اومده اومده ماه هزار لشکر ارباب اومده لشکر مشکی پوشا سینه زنای هر باب شب همه شب میخونن نوحه برای هر باب جان آقا سن قربان آقا سید لطشان آقا جان آقا سن قربان آقا سید لطشان آقا جان آقا سن قربان آقا سید لطشان جان آقا سن قربان
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
لتعجيل الفرج ولقضاء الحوائج ولشفاء المرضى ولحفظ شيعة أمير المؤمنين في كل مكان ارفعوا أصواتكم بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. على اللسان حال على أصحاب الإمام الحسين عليه السلام. صدحت أصواتنا غفرفت راياتنا حسينا حسينا كربلاء فاشهدي لحسين نفتدي حسينا حسينا صدحت أصواتنا غفرفت راياتنا حسينا حسينا كربلاء فاشهدي لحسين نفتدي حسينا حسينا صدحت أصواتنا رفرفت راياتنا حسينا حسينا كربلاء فاشهدي لحسين نفتدي حسينا حسينا نحن أنصار حسين نشتغل موت شراء دمنا الحر يلبي في الملمات النداء دمنا الحر يلبي في الملمات النداء كيف نخشى من عدو كيف نخشى الجبناء كيف نخشى من عدو كيف نخشى الجبناء نحن من جئنا لأرض الموت كي نهدي الدماء، نحن من جئنا لأرض الموت كي نهدي الدماء. قربت ساعاتنا حليت طعناتنا، قربت ساعاتنا حليت طعناتنا. حسينا حسينا لا ينام المعتدي، كربلاء فاشهدي. حسينا
حسينا
صدعت أصواتنا،
رفرفت راياتنا. حسينا حسينا كربلاء فاشهدي، لحسين نفتدي. حسينا
صدحت أصواتنا، رفرفت راياتنا. حسينا
حسينا كربلاء فاشهدي،
لحسين نفتدي. حسينا سيدي ما الموت هذا الموت عرس الشهداء، واختبار الحب يوم الكرب في يوم البلاء، واختبار الحب يوم الكرب في يوم البلاء. إنني ذاك الفدائي سأحيا بالفناء، إنني ذاك الفدائي سأحيا بالفناء. إنما الجنة والخلد لدينا كربلاء، إنما الجنة والخلد لدينا كربلاء. عرفت نبراتنا سمعت صيحاتنا، عرفت نبراتنا سمعت صيحاتنا. حسينا حسينا وحق الصمد كربلاء فاشهدي. حسينا
حسينا
صدحت
أصواتنا، رفرفت راياتنا.
حسينا حسينا
كربلاء فاشهدي،
لحسين نفتدي. حسينا
حسينا
صدحت
أصواتنا، رفرفت راياتنا.
حسينا حسينا
كربلاء فاشهدي، لحسين نفتدي.
حسينا حسينا لا نريد العمر، إن العمر في بذل النفوس. كربلاء مدرسة، كربلاء مدرسة العشق بها فهم الدروس، كربلاء مدرسة العشق بها فهم الدروس. خالد من راح للموت وللحرب الضروس، خالد من راح للموت وللحرب الضروس. لترانا سيدي أحياء من غير رؤوس، لترانا سيدي أحياء من غير رؤوس. نورت شعلاتنا شمخت ثوراتنا، نورت شعلاتنا شمخت ثوراتنا. حسينا
حسينا
موقف للأبد كربلاء فاشهدي.
حسينا حسينا
صدحت
أصواتنا، رفرفت راياتنا. حسينا كربلاء فاشهدي، لحسين نفتدي. حسينا حسينا
صدحت أصواتنا،
رفرفت راياتنا. حسينا كربلاء فاشهدي، لحسين نفتدي. حسينا
زينب تأمر ولتمشي على هذه الرقاب، زينب تأمر ولتمشي على هذه الرقاب. إنها بنت علي فاسألوا الضلع المصاب، إنها بنت علي فاسألوا الضلع المصاب. خيمة الحوراء عرض الله آيات الكتاب، خيمة الحوراء عرض الله آيات الكتاب. فاطمئني يا ابنة الزهراء في يوم الضراب، فاطمئني يا ابنة الزهراء في يوم الضراب. عظمت آياتنا نزلت لعناتنا عظمت آياتنا
نزلت لعناتنا حسينا حسينا
كالوبال الأسود كربلاء فاشهدي
حسينا حسينا
صدحت
صدحت أصواتنا رفرفت راياتنا حسينا كربلاء فاشهدي لحسين نفتدي حسينا
ما شاء الله.
حسينا
إيه،
صدحت أصواتنا رفرفت راياتنا حسينا كربلاء فاشهدي لحسين نفتدي حسينا
حسينا إننا نافع وابن القين جون وحبيب إننا نافع وابن القين جون وحبيب لا بقينا إن رأيناك على الترب خضيب لا بقينا إن رأيناك على الترب خضيب لا سمعناك تنادي مفردا دون مجيب لا سمعناك تنادي مفردا دون مجيب لا تركناك مع الورث وحيدا يا غريب لا تركناك مع الموت وحيدا يا غريب دميت هاماتنا كثرت ضرباتنا دميت هاماتنا كثرت ضرباتنا حسينا حسينا قبل ذبح السيد كربلاء فاشهدي حسينا
حسينا
إيه
صدحت أصواتنا رفرفت راياتنا حسينا حسينا
كربلاء فاشهدي لحسين نفتدي حسينا حسينا
يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين وہ عابد بیمار تھا وہ عابد بیمار تھا چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا اور شام کا بازار تھا اور مصطفیٰ بیٹیاں مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین شبیر کی وہ لاڈلی شبیر کی وہ لاڈلی سینے پہ جو شاہ کے پلی جس کی ابا بن میں جلی منہ پر تماچوں کے نشان مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین شام غریباں چھا گئی شام غریباں چھا گئی عابد کو غیرت کھا گئی پہرے پہ زینب آ گئی عباس اور اکبر کہاں مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین 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 اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد
برائے ظہور امام زمان پر خلوص صلوات السلام علیکہ یا نبی اللہ السلام علیکہ یا رسول اللہ السلام علیکہ یا باعث الہدا السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ السلام علیکہ یا علی ابن ابی طالب علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام یا امیر المؤمنین السلام علیکہ یا فاطمہ بنت محمد سیدۃ النساء العالمین السلام علیکہ یا حسن ابن علی سید شباب اہل الجنہ السلام علیکہ یا ابا عبداللہ وعلی الارواح التی حلت بفنائک علیکہ منا جمیعا سلام اللہ ابدا ما بقیت بقی اللیل والنہار ولجعل الله آخر العهد منا لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي وعلى أولاد وعلى أصحاب الذين بذلوا مهجهم دون الحسين عليه الصلاة والسلام. السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين، السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي، السلام عليك يا جعفر بن محمد، السلام عليك يا موسى بن جعفر يا باب الحوائج، السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام عليك يا مغيث الشيعة والزوار في يوم الجزاء. السلام عليك أيها المدفون بأرض طوس، السلطان العرب والعجم أبو الحسن يا علي بن موسى الرضا، كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا. السلام عليكم يا بيبي معصومكم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي، السلام عليك يا علي بن محمد، السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي العسكري، السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، اللمان اللمان اللمان، السلام عليك يا دافع الظلم والعدوان، السلام عليك يا إمام زماننا، أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وقائدا ودليلا حتى وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الله